The Kask Protone Icon. This helmet is legendary, and unless you've been riding in Watopia for the last decade, there's a good chance you've seen one on a group ride, know someone who's owned one, or maybe you've owned one yourself. As always, this isn't a sponsored video, nor does Kask have any say in the video. I'm just sharing my thoughts on this helmet and where I think it lands in 2024. Plus, I've used just about every other Kask helmet. The original Protone, the Protone Icon, the Utopia, the Vallejo, and most recently, the Elemento. Why has the Protone stayed so relevant over the years, and is it still relevant today? Well, I think the original was way ahead of its time. It was one of the first helmets I remember that simply looked good. It didn't have a polarizing style. It wasn't solely focused on being aero, nor light, nor super ventilated. It was a well-rounded helmet that checked all of the boxes, and that hasn't changed. Part of me wishes that the Protone Icon had received a little bit more of a refresh from the original Protone, but maybe that wasn't totally necessary. It has withstood the test of time, after all. I mean, it only required an aesthetic refresh, while the internals received a full-blown overhaul. With the Icon model, we saw the introduction of the Octafit system that had some additional design benefits to better harness the head, and we saw a much larger and very welcomed adjustment dial in the back. The Octafit system for me is one that seems to cradle my head quite well, making it feel very secure. It also connects well to the shell of the helmet. Unlike other helmets where I've occasionally felt that the harness is too separated from the shell. It makes it feel like the helmet moves around or like it has too much swing weight. The Protone Icon doesn't feel like that, thankfully. It's also safer thanks to Kask's WG11 testing protocol, which, as Kask says, Kask created the rotational impact WG11 test to provide safer helmets, an invisible layer of protection that far exceeds international norms. The independent lab safety protocol challenges the industry and surpasses the highest standards. I say that in quotations. Now, comfort-wise, in many ways, the Protone Icon beats competitors on the market today. The fit has been consistent for nearly a decade, even with the introduction of the Octafit system, some improvements in the padding and in the chin strap to that kind of faux leather strap. The sizing has remained consistent. Furthermore, I continue to get no pressure points with this helmet, and I know that's subjective, of course, based on head size, but I've found that to be so important, especially during long, warm days in the saddle. Now then we come to value, and at $300, it's not inexpensive by any means, but it's in line with other helmets in its category, the POC Ventral Air MIPS, the Specialized Prevail 3, the Giro Aries, and I'd argue that even today it still competes head-to-head with those helmets. And all of those have received major overhauls in the last few years. At $300, it's a safe bet. You almost can't go wrong. So in 2024, where does the Protone Icon land? Well, I think it's a solid 8 out of 10 in most categories. It vents well, it's plenty fast, it's comfortable, it feels light on the head, it has minimal swing weight in any specific direction, and I think it looks pretty dang good. And sometimes I think that with these types of helmets, we think of them as like the jack of all trade, master of none. With the Protone Icon, it performs well in just about every category, making it a helmet that's easy to recommend to just about anybody. Anyways, if you're in the market for a good road, gravel, or even maybe a cross-country mountain bike helmet, I think that the Protone Icon is one that you have to consider in your short list of helmets. Anyways, if you have any questions, drop me a comment below, and until next time.